Evansville, Indiana. The first time I got booked to work outside of Florida, New Jack, of all people, rest in power, he called me up and said, what's your booking fee? And at the time, I was $50, $75, whatever. And he said, I got $350 for you to come to Evansville, Indiana. I'm like, yeah, okay. That was the first time anybody bought me a ticket and flew me out. And some mark gave him money to book a show. And I was in the back, and I always took pride in my appearance. I looked like a pro. I spent money on my gear, my boots. I was worked out, And the guys back there, these guys wearing shorts and sneakers and cutoffs. And, most of these dudes were not in shape. They were like low-level indie guys. And he put me up against some dude who his gimmick was that he thought he was black. He was a white guy. And he had these stupid chains and a stupid afro. And I'm looking at this guy, and how long you been working? Which is the question that you ask. So you kind of get a frame of reference for this guy's experience. But I learned it's not how long you've been working. How many matches have you had? Because a guy can say, I've been working 20 years, but you've had 6 matches a year. That doesn't mean anything. I've been in the business 20 years. Yeah, but you haven't had 100 matches. Sit down and shut up. Whereas you get some guy who's working territories or was in Puerto Rico or Mexico or Japan, and he was only there for a few years, but man, he had a couple hundred matches in that time. So I remember New Jack went off on this dude and told him, no, you can't wear that bullshit, And we went out there, and I had no confidence in this guy at all. So intentionally, I did a little test, and I called the spot, tackle, drop down, leapfrog, something, whatever, just to make him run the ropes. Now he's running, I'm just doing the drop down, leapfrog. I'm doing everything in the middle, he's running. And finally I did whatever, I think it was a hip toss or something, and he scooted on his butt to the corner. Which is fine, if you're I think I was supposed to be the heel, though. I can't remember. But I just remember he was in the corner, and he was just give me a minute.
Whoa, we called timeout?
Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute, man. Just give me a minute. That was the opening spot of the match.
No.
The opening spot, and he was already blown up.
So we're like a minute in?
Maybe. And I stomped him in the face repeatedly. I was just like, how dare you disrespect me in this ring? You don't even have the gas in you to do a few minutes, and you're talking about having a match? And these people who bought tickets to see a match, but you got this gimmick, this your afro and your chains and your fake grill for your hey, I'm a white guy that thinks I'm black gimmick, And that had nothing to do with me beating them up. Just the fact
not even one kick.
No, not even one, because I wasn't even offended by that as much as how dare you get in this ring without the ability to at least have a few minutes. We did one running spot to open it up, and brother was in the corner. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. So, I spent the next couple of minutes just beating him up because he couldn't do anything. I'm not going to let you make me look bad.
Right on.
At that point, that's all I got for you. I'm not going to let you pick me up or hit me or whatever. So that match didn't go very long. And then we get to the back, and I remember he was sitting down, and his mouth was frothing with blood and snot and, pink, he was, and New Jack walked by and looked at me and looked at him and goes, it's about what I figured, and walked off, But I had OGs training me.
Right.
The guys who were training me had been places and done things, and that's how most guys back then would handle a situation like that. And that's what I was taught. So I'm not trusting you to do anything with me if you can't do that. And I remember working with OGs. I remember my first time working with Marty Jannetty. Mm-hmm. Remember that scene from The Wrestler where Mickey Rourke says and it was a Smooth Tommy Swayze, was a kid he was talking to, who we were in developmental together. He said, man, kid, you're good, man. Has anybody seen you yet? Have you got called up north yet? Marty Jannetty didn't know me. I'm young, jacked up kid. We were booked on a show in Tallahassee, and we called the match. He told me a few things he'd like to do, very simple, very basic. But once we got out there and we started working, and he was calling, he could see oh, this kid knows what he's doing. He started calling more shit for me. And at one point, I think he called for me to powerbomb him. So he got real comfortable with me real quick. Because OGs that have been doing it for a while, they can just tell by how you lock up whether or not you know what you're doing. They can watch your footwork for a few seconds and be like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And in order to build trust, you build a reputation. You work with guys, different places, different companies over the years. And there's telephone, television, telewrestler. Word gets around fast, you know?
Right.
And if you're a dude that's known for hurting people, people don't want to work with you. But if you get a reputation for being a good worker, everybody wants to work with you. And, there's, the guy, oh man, that guy's a good hand, You might not be a star, but you're safe. You're serviceable. We can go out there. We can have a good match. I know you're going to do your job. You're going to make me look good. Nobody gets hurt. The crowd's happy because they get a good match. The best way to build trust is to build a reputation for being a safe worker.